Katie, welcome back to Still the Spotlight. You might remember probably almost a year ago now I posted this video talking about how I kind of hate fashion at the moment, and I'm not gonna lie to you, not a whole lot has changed since then. I really want to get back into the swing of things, so I thought today we could just try something a little bit more casual, sit down, have a bit of a chit chat about things that we've been finding inspo in recently. Think very much like old school favorites videos. Like any basic gal, I think I'm just gonna start by getting my Pinterest up. Don't be alarmed, but I do treat my Pinterest the same way I do my desktop laptop, which is absolutely no organization whatsoever. I just throw everything into one board labeled fun style inspo and hope for the best. I don't know what to tell you, it's just how my brain likes it. And actually, when it comes to developing personal style, I think this can be a more helpful tool than trying to specifically categorize everything, because this way, as you're consuming it, you can kind of jumble it up in there and then regurgitate it as something a little bit more fresh. Rather than just doing a copy and paste of one aesthetic, you actually get to do a bit of a collage of all sorts of things you love. Obviously, I can't just go through my entire board with you or we'd be here all day, but I thought I'd share a few key themes I'm seeing that I'm going to be keeping in mind when I'm getting dressed, planning videos, or going shopping. Color-wise, you'll always find some pinks and purples, but at the moment, specifically these sort of berry tones. A lot of fun, quirky hats and beanies. Obviously nothing new, but apparently I'm still into it. A more surprising one to me though was camo. I don't know, I just didn't realize I was ready for this to come back yet. Skirts over pants continues to get a lot of screen time on my board, which isn't surprising because I find myself often looking for fresh ideas with this because I seem to style it the same way repeatedly. Since it has been winter here, I've been having a lot of fun playing around with scarves recently, and probably a theme that was already very evident in my recent video with Leaden are these over-the-top girly silhouettes and details. Please excuse my pronunciation, but these Chopova Luena skirts are definitely on my wish list. I don't know if I ever will actually make the splurge, but it doesn't stop me from checking secondhand resellers constantly. But of course, getting inspo doesn't mean you have to be buying things. So one thing about me is that I just get this irrational confidence when it comes to doing a little DIY sewing project. I have no idea why, because I literally have zero skills in that department, but something in my brain just says, easy, we can do it, no worries. So today I thought, let's just put it to the test. I've had my eye on this denim skirt, leg warmer, suspender, jean situation from Crank for the longest time. You might have seen it on Ning Ning and Hikaru as well. Also, obviously not the same, but kind of giving the same sort of vibes as Neon in the recent Twice comeback. The reason I didn't cave and purchase them is because that price tag, and let me tell you, the conversion rate of the Australian dollar at the moment, I've been crying myself to sleep about it. So I've got this denim skirt that I haven't worn in ages because the length just doesn't really do anything for me, and then also an old pair of jeans that unfortunately are a little bit too tight on the muffin top these days. So I think if we combine the powers of the two, hopefully we'll be able to come up with something. So I started by trying the skirt on to see what length I wanted it, and then just putting pins in place so I wouldn't go past that point. Clearly when cutting, I left plenty of excess for seam allowance and just for any mistakes. Same thing for cutting the leg warmers. I'd rather have too much than not enough. I can't remember if the skirt had a raw hem or not, so I'm just getting up a reference picture, which probably would have been handy from the start. Oh, okay, it does have a raw hem. That's interesting. Okay, so didn't need the extra for seam allowance in the end, so I just went back in with the scissors to cut it a little bit shorter and then just started distressing. I know, very 2015 Tumblr of me, which is actually scaring me because there's been so much talk of 2010s fashion coming back and it's starting to feel real now. I did the same thing to the leg warmers, cutting a bit of that excess off, but making sure I put that aside for later. And then just going in with a seam ripper, I found that the easiest method for distressing. Now that the easy steps are done, it's time to make the little connector suspenders. I'm using those scraps we set aside from the leg warmers and these clips I got from Spotlight. This is kind of a more fiddly task, and the fact that the denim fabric is quite thick only makes it trickier, so I found the easiest and neatest method to use was to go in with the iron first and flatten everything out. That way you could pin it in place really easily and just whiz it through the sewing machine. Once I had all my pieces, I attached the ends to the clips, just looping it through and stitching it back and forth a couple of times. Obviously, I only had 4 pieces to attach and I needed 8, so I just chopped these ones in half and did the exact same step. Then it was finally time to start attaching them to the skirt and leg warmers. I tried everything on so I could pin it in place. It was kind of tricky to do it on the back. Definitely would have been easier if you had someone else to help you, but I just tried to make a mark where I thought was the middle and then took it off to actually pin it in place. The final step was just to run it back through the sewing machine and then ta-da! I'm actually so stoked with how they turned out in the end. I think they look just as cute as the original, and since it's something I've wanted for such a long time, I feel even more accomplished. Also, since you can unclip them, you could totally wear these leg warmers with other outfits as well. I know that's getting really popular on TikTok at the moment, where you tuck the old pant legs into a pair of boots. I have a few content creators I wanted to share because I know you guys would really love them too. The first one is cyberbabie. I find her style truly just so much fun to enjoy. Seemingly there is a lot of New York fashion TikTokers, but for me, she always comes across as so genuine in her personal style. And I love seeing how she'll incorporate different trends while still making it her own. And her boyfriend are also doing style bundles now, which I really want to purchase. I'm just not 100% sure if they ship to Australia. So I think I'm gonna have to check that out, and if they do, perhaps there will be a video coming soon. You know what? The next account is actually also from New York, which is Violet. I swear she has never put together an outfit that I didn't love. Her style is definitely more on the preppy side of things. I love seeing how she pieces things together because it's always in such an effortless way, but never boring, which is something I'm really trying to take away from her videos. I don't always have to be so over the top to have a cute fit. She does wear a lot more designer and higher end brands than what I typically would ever purchase, but it's never in a like flex, flashy logo sort of way, so it's still super easy to get inspo. And the last account I have is Capri Sun Kid. The instant that my For You page was blessed with their presence, I knew it had to be an instant follow. Their style is just so cool. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Think very Ai Yuzawa character come to life, which I know already has you hooked, so go. Check them out. Obviously, I'm always doing character lookbooks, so I thought it would be very on brand to share some recent TV shows or films that I've watched that I thought had really cool inspo, but sadly no, because all I do is chew through One Piece these days, which I mean, I guess could deserve a shout out, but honestly, I'm counting on you. Please share with the class any recommendations you think we should check out. Although I did recently have somewhat of an epiphany about a particular character I used to love as a kid, and I think it just stored away somewhere in the back of my brain, and at some point I unintentionally started dressing like her, and that is Anna from the OC. Do you see it? It's like the preppy, fun, girly 2000s style. Honestly, I was probably too young to be watching this shit at the time, but it did not stop me. I would love to do a lookbook for this series. Let me know your thoughts. I haven't, just because it doesn't have that same like cult following as something like Gossip Girl or Gilmore Girls, those sort of ones around the same time period, but I feel like it is time for a resurgence of the OC. What do we think? I haven't done a thrift haul in so long. I don't pick up as much as I used to, so typically I end up using them in videos before I get a chance to collect enough items to do a whole dedicated video. That is the joy of Australian op shopping. But I do have a couple of pieces that I've been excited about, so I wanted to share. The first one is this 2000s patchwork graphic tee. It's giving very like hysteric glamour sort of vibes, the sort of thing I could totally style in my upcoming Fruits magazine lookbook. Oh my god, you guys, how long have I been promising that video? I swear I can turn this around right now. There are outfits hanging up planned, so it is coming very soon. Also, how the hell did this end up on the $2 sale rack? You're really trying to tell me nobody else wanted this? I feel like that's how you know you don't live in the same area as the Depop girlies. Now, this is something I thought would have only existed in my Y2K dreams. It is this velvet hoodie dress. It has the quarter zip with the little heart detail to it, and then the hemline is a bubble hem. Do you guys know how obsessed I am with bubble hems and how hard they are to find? And this was actually from the same op shop, just on different trips, but much more expensive because it was on the designer rack. It is Roberta di Camerino. I personally hadn't heard of them. I don't know what their pricing is like or if this would even be real, but yeah, I paid 40 bucks for it. Definitely steep for the op shop, but I was like, if I saw this brand new for 90, I would probably purchase it, so why am I doubting $40? Plus, you're probably not going to see something like it again. As most of you probably know, I will never miss an opportunity to talk about K-pop styling, and yes, today's outfit is pretty much how I would have styled Hyuna for the Nabila comeback. Actually, I think this is the first comeback since she was with P Nation that I haven't done an inspired by post for, so I'm feeling kind of guilty about that, but the outfits didn't speak to me as much as they typically would. But I guess this was just a bit of a delayed appreciation. There were a ton of other comebacks that I thought had really strong styling, one of which was the apink subunit for Copycat. For starters, I think just the concept of this song really lent into having fun with the styling. Plus, it's not very often that we get to see a duo, but I think it makes for some really dynamic outfits, more so than if it was just a solo or if you're looking at 5+ members. Probably the girl group that I find myself anticipating the stage outfits the most is aespa. We got Life's Too Short, Girls, and Illusion all serving looks. Come on now, did you really think I wasn't going to talk about the Twice Talk That Talk comeback? So many of the outfits just put a smile on my face. I mean, look at me. Of course, I like the more colorful Y2K vibes. I could just leave it at hyping up the girlies, but I will give a shout out to ateez. Yes, I am biased because they're one of my alt groups, but I did really enjoy the outfits that they had for the Guerilla comeback. Actually, let me go and get my poster. And yes, I did order all 3 versions because I am weak, but my favorite one ended up being this like orangey red one. I don't know, I just love this picture. Every outfit looks brilliant. Their team for real knows what they're doing. And while I have you here, will you please just humor me for a moment while I show you perhaps one of my favorite photo cards in recent memory? This one of Hongjung. He looks so good. Not to be that bitch, but I think I want to end on a quote from a book. Don't worry, the book is Style Surfing, What to Wear in the Third Millennium. So very much not deep, okay? But it really spoke to me. I just surf right out of my wardrobe, becoming whoever or whatever I want to be. I'm a figment of my own imagination. And as someone who has never stuck to one particular style, those are some words I can get behind. But anyway, thank you for chatting with me today. I hope you enjoyed this more kind of casual video. Let me know if you want to see more, and if so, what sort of topics you'd be interested in talking about. But yes, you can catch me over on TikTok or Instagram. Otherwise, I will see you in my next one. Bye!